It's a great Thursday evening. It's around 6 p.m. Central European time, and we have incredible guest over here. Alex, thanks for joining. To whom who hasn't met Alex yet, let me make a quick round of introduction. So Alex Zavelia is Acceleration Program Coordinator at Mempool Ventures. Alex, pleasure to host you.
Appreciate for your invite, man. Every time this is pleasure to talk with you. uh, I remember that we talked with you last time. It was private, but your cat broke your cup. What do you think? Today we will have something interesting.
That's the beauty of working from home. Like when we go remote, like different cases happening. So it's life. Like we'll see. Hope nothing will be like that today, and we'll have a bright and wonderful stream. All right, I see people joining us, so we can go on because today we have the topic. I would say it's on high demand. Like when people hear Web3 and like combination of Web3 and investment, like that's actually high topic, and it will be hot today. So, like, we will try to dive deeper into the investments. We will try to dive deeper into the VC firms, the strategies, and how to actually adapt to this market. Because for the last 6 months, it's been quite roller coaster ride for the whole cryptocurrency market, right? And last year we entered crypto winter. We observed dramatic events, I would say, which actually affected the whole market dramatically. And I believe the crypto community is watching Web3 right now with the popcorn, right? And the domino effect is actually influencing is investor confidence as well, right? So let's recap like what's happened on the market recently. Like last year in May, it was crash of Luna and USDT. Also, FTX exchange comes in November. Like we all know this case, right? And right now we're having the twist of plots with Binance. So I'm chatting Alex like with plenty of VC firms, with plenty of investors, family offices, and the points and basically their thoughts on the market quite different. Some of them think that everything will be fine till the mid-year of 2023. Some of them think that this year is quite bad for investments and plenty of projects will be some kind of whipped out of the market, especially the startups who recently started. So before we'll dive to the topic itself, like my personal point that the cryptocurrency market is heading to recovery, like it's on the road and it's showing some positive signs. And what's basically your view of the current market conditions, and how do you think the current bear market will affect the funding landscape in the following months?
If you are investors in a crypto in Web3 at the current situation, what you need to do? Take your left hand, take your right hand, and praise the God. Actually, no, this is a really funny question, and I'll explain why this amused me. There are a lot of prediction about what will go where in terms of Bitcoin and so on and so on. But if we divide this into structure, then I believe that the market is in a bear trend. But everyone knows this anyway. Now he's going through certain stage. I call it some kind of rebirth and rebuilding before the next bull run. And my subjective feeling, I would not wait a significant start of bull run until the Q2 of 2024. And I'm think, for my humble opinion, this is the best time. This is the worst time when you can make an exit from a project as an investor, of course. Uh, but this is a very good time when you uh, invest into a project because market falling down. We all
Exactly.
in every crisis. This is the best time to buy something, right? And right now, bear market started not today. My think, for my opinion, more than a year we in a bear market, and a lot of different scam, shit, and other low quality project falling down. And I think in this bear market will survive only the strongest and the founders who really believe in their product.
I
So
fully, yep.
Yeah, this was a small intro before we start talking about venture story of this part, because I want share not about like whole overview of this market. I want to share venture perspective, because from projects you from one side, as a venture you from another perspective for it, and I want to share for you, for anyone who participate in our live team, some from venture side how it looks like. So from Mempool Ventures vision, one more uh, paragraph, and I will give you a word. Mempool Ventures is concerned. Our focus is on making a profit in next bull run, so maybe a little early. And so in this question about how to venture invest now, we have the first variable, timeline. So if we make right now investment, we plan to make in exit in next bull run, or early or a little bit later. So and if we understand, so if next bull run will be, for example, for my opinion, next year at least, maybe a little bit later. So we need to plan in this case something like that. But in first, not, but I cannot but cancel that now more and more often. I see different messages that some projects close their round. So I think everything is market okay, but requirements change.
You're not believing that bull market will come soon, right? Like if you're saying that it will be next year or slightly later, so it looks like well, the market actually gives some good predictions and signs, but I'm not sure like how it looks from the VC standpoint. Like, do you see the profitable following month in the crypto world, or do you think that it'll be the same case, or God forbid, it'll be even worse?
I think that in next months we don't need expect something extraordinary. We need to understand that really bull run and really big money, institutional money, will start invest in this area when we will have a good legal base around the world, around the globe. And this is need time to the governments, to the regulator, right, and provide some really good legal base. After that, blockchain community will say that this is something horrible, and one or two this kind of life cycle of legal polemic, and we will finalize all legal stuff. So I don't expect that. I think maybe in next months or something like that, we will see growing of Bitcoin, and after that, maybe next 6 months they will falling down. Maybe not. And anyone know? I think.
These are the
Uh,
keywords, Alex. The regulations, like what we actually heard from the last FTX crash, right? Like when all this happened, like everyone was talking about regulations. So I believe
the,
regulations are vital indeed, because right now, like people who are out of Web3 community, people who are outside of, and, still in the Web2 world, they right now taking all the crypto as something unlegit, I would say. And basically, that's a huge bottleneck for new startups to come in to gain new community, right? So I believe we are more mature than the last crypto winter. Like the market survived, the market evolved, and even in the numbers, like I pulled up some kind of stats here. So in terms of the Web3 landscape, in 2022, the total funding to blockchain project was of over 7.5 billion US dollars. And basically, that's a significant increase because if we revert back to 2021, it was like 4.8 billion less. So plenty of funds are right now allocated to different projects. And we see that even with the recent events, like the huge attention from the investor standpoint is brought to AI, right? It takes the huge attention. Like we are not about to discuss the Chat GPT right now or any other products related to AI, but we need to face the fact that investors are interested. So what else? Like I recently observed from the market that NFTs are actually still alive. Like we should not just associate the NFT with the collectibles, like art collectibles specifically, but right now the huge boom is in the utility-based NFT adoption. So also GameFi VR also rises. So my question is to you, I'm curious, like what types of the blockchain projects you are mostly interested in from the VC standpoint. Like, what type of the project should be in order to get the investment from Mempool Ventures? Like, how do you invest in this way?
Uh, Thanks for the question. And again, the answer and very simple and very hard. So, any venture fund, on my opinion, uh, they all think how it will earn money. So this is a business, of course. In my experience, many projects forget about this component when they pitch, for example, the project. What I mean is, if project itself does not fully know where and how it will get money, then investor will not see its benefits. So based on this, each fund forms investment criteria based on its experience and area in which they understand. For example, if venture capital fund 20 years working in real estate or in space technology, of course they don't really want to invest in any kind of blockchain projects because they don't understand or allocate very small amount of their budget of their deployment capital. If we talk about Mempool Ventures, we guys, first of all, who all our time in blockchain in Web3, and we very good understand all sub niches of Web3, like DeFi, like NFT, GameFi, etc. And our expertise can help to bring the best projects from different niche. So we don't want to close from interesting offers. So for example, Mempool team is also part of applicator holding. So we have experience with more than 300 different projects in Web3 if we talk about exact numbers. As a niches, as I mentioned before. So these niches, this is our priority. Consumer adoption, infrastructure for Web3, uh, different DeFi. For me personal, very interesting will be see how it will be after DeFi summer. Did you remember it?
Yeah.
And after every high growing, we have very big recession, and very interesting what will be next, uh, because we will see new interesting DeFi projects. Uh, Actually, Vitalik, do you think would you invest in the cybersecurity? Because I
Uh,
know you here.
Good. Like if I were you from the Mempool Ventures standpoint, like I will always invest in cybersecurity projects, because anyways, like despite the bear market, despite the bull run, like scams and actual exploits more significantly are happening always. Like I had the interview, like the live stream previously with Ian, like we chatted about Web3 security, and I pulled up the statistics for the past year, and the numbers were insane. Like we're still, yeah, I'm saying that the market is mature, but we are still making the childish mistakes. We're still facing the projects which are not, auditing the smart contracts before the deployment. We are still facing that we do some internal audits, I would say, but they are far from being audited by third party. So even the great website is right news. Like it posts like plenty of different hacks which are happening. They quite on time with this. So I'm always like checking when I'm having the morning coffee this website to see like what's going on in the industry, and it has like the beautiful tab called leaderboard. So the top 15 projects of the so-called notorious leaderboard, right? Like they are unaudited, like not all of them, but the vast majority. So we can see that the huge hacks are happening in the industry. Users are losing funds, but the projects were neglecting just security auditing in order to prevent it. So yeah, like if you're asking me, I would definitely invest in cybersecurity because it will be the trend in the bull run for the coming years.
And this is what I'm talking about regulation. For example, if we compare with more older industry like pharmacy. Because my first degree master in pharmacy, and I'm something know about it. For my clinical trials, you need every your step have a special documents. Right now, for example, from my perspective, smart contract audits, if we talk about cybersecurity, this is something that must be, not like recommended or will be good. This must be. Uh,
Exactly.
After that, I think you, as an expert here, you can add something interesting. But every audit firm, if we start talking about it, every audit has different methods. For example, you can't make a clinical research in pharmacy something that you will be use for your heart on your leg, like a simple example.
Yeah.
uh, Different audits use different ways, and we haven't got regulation for it. But I think when we start regulation smart contract auditors, this is another high level that this industry will be need to gain. So um, every step, if we want to add here institutional investors, need to be more regulated and more understandable. If we talk about venture capital firms, this is wild west.
But still, like if we're talking about venture capital firms, how do you treat the security aspects? Like plenty of VC firms invest in seed and pre-seed rounds, right? But at this point of time, plenty of projects haven't even started the development process, but they ask for funds. How would you make sure that the project will be secure once they build the code base? Do you require some kind of security checks like smart contract audit or penetration test in the future? Because as investors, I believe you're joining the board of advisors, right? But do you have the right to vote for the future steps? Do you have the right to add some kind of clarifications in the SAFs agreements or investing agreements that at the specific point of time, the project should conduct a security review, meaning the smart contract audit or penetration test, so on and so forth. Like how it will look like? What's the experience from the venture capital side?
So, for example, when we make an investment and work with our partners, this every story is very unique and negotiable. But as I mentioned before, smart contract audit, this is not something like uh, need to done. This must to be done. So this is very strange how project plan to, for example, deploy smart contract, make token launch, ICO, IDO, list on DEX, SEX, etc., without any smart contract audits or put any kind of money without it. So we usually put this in roadmap. So this is very simple question, and this is something necessary.
And speaking about building, like we actually chatting about the auditing, we're chatting about the building. Like I believe plenty of projects right now take the bear market as the opportunity. Because anyways, like I've dropped the Medium article like around 2 weeks ago about the opportunities on the crypto winter side. We still have plenty of new visions, new opportunities, and basically that's the very significant time to build your product. Because if we see like 2 years ago when we had the rush, like the bull market, everyone actually rushed to invest and everyone rushed to build. And we turn out the cases that the projects are ready, but the market already is down. So right now, if we are preparing the project, if we're preparing ourselves, we are building. So it means also like we need to gain funds in order to build, right? So I'm asking that like, how do you evaluate the projects which are building the project right now? Do you have any some particular metrics or maybe criterias for the projects which are developing something? Like how do you evaluate them before the investment?
Yeah, evaluation and fundra. From my opinion, the hardest time in project's life, this is a seed round, because you haven't got a product. For product you need the money. For money you need the product. That's cycle. And you need to really something to impress maybe investors. Actually, in cases that we invest and project successfully closed seed round, it was friends and family, it was their own funds. This is a really good marker when if you're founder, CEO, you pretty successful in something to do, you take your own money, money of your friends, family. You are self-funded, and you build a product. You invest all your money, and this is something that really impress sometimes venture capital firm. But this is little off top from your question, because I remember one of case. Every time about evaluation, there's always an aura of mystery around it. I will explain why. If you just ask Google or ChatGPT to answer this question, how to VC evaluate projects, you most likely will get a bunch of formulas, indicators, multiplicators, so on, so on, so on. A lot of information about it. Very easy to answer, but there is a significant nuance here. It all works very poorly in Web3 market, because if we talk about the real estate or car market or pharmaceutical market, uh, where the industry is institutionalized, then yes, there is a standards how to count previous cases, more than 100 years history so far. Web3, this is wild market, in my opinion, and no one have an exact answer how to answer it. As a in Mempool Ventures, we use mostly data-driven method. So, yeah, of course, I talked a lot about some feelings and something, um, that you can't count, etc. But on a practice, we use data-driven method and we really calculate everything, because we have 7 years experience on Web3, in investing in Web3, in working in Web3. So we have a data that we can use. We are looking at
That's a
this
vast
figure.
experience.
Huh?
That's a vast experience indeed. Like 7 years, like that's a quite long time.
For
From
for
the
Web3,
you've
this is
seen quite a
like
lot, I believe.
17, 17 pharmacy in Web3. So we conduct detailed analysis of over 150 indicators during of our due diligence process. But if we simple it a little, then it is important for us how project earn money, how many, how many users. Mostly we invest uh, something like round A right now in our current strategy, if we talk about it, because we right now, before crypto winter, we invest on idea stage projects. Market change, condition change, strategy changed. So we right now want to see on a project some kind of existing product on the market, some battle tested product. So if you launch your product, maybe you need to have just I think users who will be used your product. um, uh,
Hopefully, like
Hopefully, yeah.
yeah, what green is still like
uh,
really
so
country, but
if you
hopefully,
launch your,
right.
if you launch product and they don't you haven't got users or some revenue streams, you haven't got revenue. If you launch product and you're finally cut the rope, red rope, and nothing changed, this is a mark. But this is a bad case. Of course, if we talk about, we talked a lot of with a lot of interesting projects in Mempool story, and they have numbers of users, revenue streams. um, this is very important, be honest, because if you have a users and if you have a clear revenue stream, you can predict and calculate what will be next if we multiply these numbers. Because if you have nothing, you can imagine, okay, I will have 1,000 users, and they 100,000, these 1,000 users will do something A. But this is like a prediction only. If you have a data users from this your first early adopters, you can build um, I think something that can happen in future model.
Alex,
More, yeah, more some more trustable predicted. Of course, this is anyway prediction, and and everything can go wrong. This sometimes happen, but this is significantly increased chance to make this prediction really really trustable if you have your data users, your battle tested idea, etc.
Thanks for sharing your vision on the strategy. Like the strategy is quite clear. You invest in the products which are meeting the criteria which you named, and basically they should be already sustainable, already released, have the community and the clear revenue streams. But if I'm having, for example, the startup, like I'm in the pre-seed round. So how do VC invest? Like, is there any chance for me to get the investment during this bear market? Like, or do all of the VC firms change the strategy and they're looking just for higher opportunities? Like, I do understand your point. Like, I totally respect such position because the bear market is actually wiping down the projects which are not legit, like which are having the poor concept, or which are doubling like the same marketplace with the same features for 100 and x times, right? Like we see that plenty of projects are just building for the sake of building, but plenty of them also have the credible concept and the users do believe in this concept. So for these projects, like I totally understand, but let's imagine that I'm building the project from scratch, right? Like I'm building the project from something unique, like it's a unique idea, but I'm still having the papers and no written code at all. Like I'm not having the MVP design even, like the clickable prototype is not ready. So is there any chance to get investment on the market right now? And does Mempool Ventures also uh, interested in this stage of the project these days?
Um, First of all, Vitalik, if you will be owner of startup, I will be your first adopter and first investor because you are my friend. I believe in you. I know your skills. You can mention that this is a joke, or right now I'm joking, but uh, in this words we have really some kind of true, because if you a CEO and founder and you decide uh, build a startup, you need, I think you have a background. Maybe you have experience in common business, you have your business partners, etc. So friends and family around for MVP building works really good, because for to create some MVP or create uh, some business idea, some business model canvas, some maybe Figma, even Figma prototype will be enough sometimes. Uh, you don't need a lot of money for it to took first round from your friends, family, and maybe your first venture capital adopters. Yeah, of course, I know a lot of different venture capital partners who invest on idea stage project, who ready to deploy first 50, $100,000 in this project. Of course, this we have this on the market. But for example, from our side, right now we don't ready to invest directly from Mempool side, and we have very clear description why. But as Mempool part of applicator, we're ready to use our expertise and help um, as a service to our partners from applicator side to gain this first money, to gain this first early adopters, first users, customers, etc., etc. So I think everything is possible. You need to find right and proper partners in this way, because for every requirements you can find your adopters, your adopt investors, your customers. You need to just find the right.
Man, I remember like around 5 minutes ago. Let me quote you: "Web3 market is wild."
Yeah.
So this concrete jungle, like what we are having in the Web3, like everything is building something, right? And you're investing in the projects. So I have a tricky question for you. How do you balance in this bear market between reward and risk? Do you have any strategies for this?
As I mentioned before, left hand, right hand, praise the God. I'm joking. In this evening I have a very good mood, so mood. So yeah, um, if it's took seriously, we have defined such criteria in our strategy in Mempool story. We are looking for project with existing token on the market. This is criteria number one. Why? Because listing on centralized exchange, this is often an experience process and hard process. If we talk about tier one exchanges, and some early stage projects simply don't live up to it. Plus, we are protected to some extent from the whales that can be created in the process, because all cards that are already on the table. We understand size of treasury, we understand who is the whales on this project, and we can minimize this wild west market in our manner. So this is what I mentioned before. Not only project need to choose proper niche and proper investors, and as we see, we also want to choose our proper way how to invest money. So um, listing on an exchange, criteria number one. Uh, when I spoke about also what this is really important, um, early investors. Who is your previous investors? This is also a good indicator. After all, when someone else, after all, someone else believe um, in them beside us, this is one of the factors that reduce the risk. We have a lot of our partners uh, who also venture capital firm invest, and this very is a good story when someone shared some good projects and sometimes interesting collaborate. So token investors, uh, right, let's go to the product. So for us, very important that project have a built and used product, alphabet MVP. Why? We are checking two important boxes with this project: ability to ship product as well as the basic product market fit.
Yeah.
And after that, we will then actively assist the project with shipping the future releases and with the strategy, partnership, and integration, etc. Plus community support, but this is numbers. This is like you can feel about hype of project, but hype really doesn't matter because today we have, tomorrow haven't. So summarize: token, product, community, previous investors.
Well, and speaking about the token, so it means like you want to take a portion of tokens from the project, like once you're decided to invest, right? And what about equity?
Usually we invest, we split it. We take both. Like this meme, man can who can do both. uh, we take 50 percentage in equity, 50 percentage in token from our amount of investment.
And is
So
it the optional case, or do you require for investment to share equity, like the project should share equity and tokens? Or can we go, for example, with just one component? Like, for example, I'm having the project and I don't want to share equity or I don't want to share a token. And I will just offer you 100%, but just in one, like equity or token.
Um, actually, very interesting case you mentioned. In my practice, when I spoke with the projects, uh, I know maybe two projects that are not ready to share equity in fundraising round. Be honest, because um, most of the and most of them ready to share equity. This is not necessary requirements, but every time, of course, project interesting to take some good investors on board, because from we invest not only money, we invest as a smart money. And why the reason why you introduced me not only as a representative from Mempool Ventures, and you mentioned that I acceleration program coordinator. We accelerate project who for us interested to in which project we interested to invest. So we invest as a smart money because we have very strong background of how to build a product and provide acceleration services. And this is one of our key to success. So we work very closely with the projects.
All right, all right. And like the logical question is, just imagine that I'm matching all the criteria which you mentioned, right? I'm having the community, my project is built, it's operational, it's clear revenue streams. I'm ready to share equity and token, but I have the only one drawback here. Like I have the token, like it's on the exchange, well, decentralized exchange, not centralized. And I'm planning to list it on centralized exchange tier one. That's all good, but I need funds for this because, as we know, like listing to the exchange is quite costly right now. Like it's quite expensive, and sometimes like it just happening that I'm matching all the criteria, but in the next quarter, like I need to fundraise. I need to get some investments, for example, from VC firms, and with that invested money, I'm listing my token to the tier one exchange. Is it the possible scenario? Like, will you negotiate with the project in such case, or will you just, still resist?
If project haven't got token or just deploy smart contract, only deploy smart contract without, huh?
Like, I mean that, for example, I'm having the token, like it's already built, but it's on the decentralized exchange, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I'm planning to list it also on centralized one. But I need fund for that, and I'm requesting the fund from the Mempool Ventures or any other VCs in order to get listed, in order to pay the tier one exchange for the listing process.
Actually, I think we can discuss it. Why? Because in this case, I want to analyze your liquidity on the centralized exchange, how much, um, how many token holders do you have, how big community is your, and this community who invest, who trade your token on decentralized, decentralized exchange, will be your adopters on centralized exchange, and this will be a very good scenario. If your token already that on even in, for example, pancake swap, I don't see reason why you need to make a listing on, for example, Binance, Hobby, or some another big names. This is not a story about just to pay money. You need
Mhm.
to make another criteria like community, adopters, product, etc.
All right, that's great. So everything is negotiated.
Yes, we're ready to discuss. Every story pretty unique here.
All right. Like preparing to this live stream, Alex, let me say that I went to Mempool Venture website. Like I see the changes. Like the website is quite bold. Like it looks like you have the new design of the website. And on the portfolio page, I've seen plenty of great names. The projects are great. So I'm curious, like can you tell us about your, previous cases, about your success stories with investments, and maybe you can highlight some key factors that contributed to success?
hmm Actually, about Mempool Ventures website, soon will be released new version that we maybe, I hope it will be ready very very soon, with very hilarious design from our design team. I'm very love them. So absolutely new. In case of success story, we have a pretty good portfolio. We till this time have more than 35 investments, a lot of good numbers and big names. For example, specifically in our case, um, each successful case was that we as investor were also involved in the acceleration process, as I mentioned before. So besides money, we have invested many hours of our time and experience. So, for example, uh, I don't remember exact numbers. If someone else interested, we can discuss private, and I can share deck. Our investment deck where describe trial.io. We help them to achieve market cap more than $100 million, uh,
Okay.
and and help to provide maybe and help to provide successful fundraising round to collect more than $1.3 million. If we talk, for example, about Game Station, this is our application magic and Mempool Ventures magic. We help to raise 2.3 million. We invest our own money and we help to close full round with our partners. We make a very successful IDO for them. So you understand the success, this success case. This is not just only we put them money on a table and this is it. We start working with them. Uh, we start our work with the game station in spring 2021.
Hmm.
Initially, the project name was Game Starter, but the competitors has already been out with the same name. So we changed name to Game Station. Game Station team has been patient about gaming for a long time. So one more important criteria that I want to also mention. This is previous experience of the team. This is one of criteria what we analyzed. If you haven't got previous startup successful stories or experience in blockchain, or you haven't got a good advisors who can help you, if you haven't got enough experience for this story, this will be bad mark. If you super experienced, you have a good advisors, this is increased chance. So game station really know how what they do. So we started from the application due diligence process and application Mempool Ventures. So this is includes through overview of all existing documents, business plan, decks, market data, creating a clear plan for moving forward with the product specification. So the team was able to also land a couple of other critical advisors that played important role. We helped them to bring team together. After having on board game station team, finish due diligence, and after finishing due diligence, we're ready to plan next step. Uh, we're able to begin the tight cooperation with the project team on design and developing Launchpad and their website. So we will be involved also as partners for development. It took a couple months to prepare everything and look perfectly. And
Nice. Yeah,
after huh?
it's a long preparation story.
Yeah, and you understand when you see you go to the theater or go to the movie, you spend only 2 hours to see the movie, but for preparation all this movie, thousand of works of different people. So
Yeah,
of course, in day of IDO, you can say that I rise to million, but for this one day, you need for example, 100 day of preparation. And this is what I'm talking about. That we start very long preparation process and building. Uh, it took a lot of cooperation between the team and marketing department, tech team, and we make fully diluted market cap was $285 million, fully diluted market cap at the peak.
that's incredible.
So and of course, as investors, this is also in our success.
Yeah, like the success is always a common thing. Like success is the team and advisors. So as you're acting as the advisors and also like the part of the team is, as I understand, for the invested projects, right? The projects of your portfolio. So that's the common success.
You know,
Alex, I know that you uh,
yeah, sorry,
appreciate.
you.
Yeah,
Common success. I think success rate in startups pretty low, but and every success story pretty simple. But this is a combination of right decisions and right action that you made. I think you know the source of this source of this word. One of the persons that we know both. And when you make a critical amount of right actions and right decisions, this is not 100%, but this really increase the numbers of um, the probability of success.
yeah, I fully agree with you on this. And like, let's revert to predictions and the bear market. Like you said that you do not like the predictions on the bear market on when the crypto winter will come to end, right? But let's put it all aside. Like, let's take the prediction for the more broader timeline, right? Because you're like involving, and actually you're involved to projects from different industries, from projects from different types, like different chains. By the way, are you working only with EVM chains, or are you also investing in other, like outside EVM chains?
Very interesting right now. Looking ICP,
Computer.
yeah, ICP story. This is very interesting that we are searching right now, and I think uh, we can imagine something interesting here in ICP also. But EVM, this is a base, of course. This is maybe the mass adoption solution right now. So
All right.
very interesting to see some hard technological products and teams who build something new. But right now, I see potential in ICP as a really, because if we have only monopoly of EVM, this is not about Web3. Like if we talk about some Web Web3 values and Web3 people, where we have independent market, when we have uh, free opinion, different solution, and total freedom, as an like CryptoPunks. I think we need two competitors to EVM.
So we see the ICP is booming, ICP is growing, EVM is still evolving. So let's revert to predictions for the broader timeline. Like I'm interested, how do you see the funding landscape for the following years? Like not take months, but years. What opportunities will the VC investors have in the following years?
Um, you know, I think every VC who in blockchain very good understand this is a brilliant time to invest. Really good. Uh, but we have a lot of different VCs on this market who not really good understand blockchain. They just invest in different niche they really know to do, like real estate, gas and oil, traditional markets, etc. Um, and they allocate, like for example, 10% of their deployment capital to, okay, let's make a really big risk, big reward, etc., and invest in blockchain. And for them, very hard to explain some really good potential of Web3. If we talk about, we have also a lot of different VCs who fully on blockchain. Uh, they really good understand that right now this is brilliant time to invest into project. Of course, this is a really big work that we need to do to find these good projects with these all criteria, with good potential, etc. But I think in next bull run we will see a lot of hilarious access for venture capital fund. Previous bull run from Mempool Venture, we have pretty good numbers.
All right, all right. So
Uh, uh,
we still hearing
Sorry,
that.
one more. So I think our strategy is really battle tested. So we want that product idea need to be battle tested, but the same requirements for Mempool's venture strategy. We use only battle tested methods that we really know that they work on this market.
And lastly, I cannot miss the opportunity to take a chance and ask you the very important and question on demand, I would say. The question is that will be quite interested from the community, and tell us how to easier raise funds and to be liked by the VCs. Like, what advice would you give to the projects, to the startups which are approaching the VC firms, presenting the concept, presenting the documentation, and want to receive the funding? Like, what advices would you grant them?
How to easy fundraise? Sell a
Easy.
kidney.
Fundraise is
Easy.
not always like, it's quite complicated process, to be honest. But if you know like what do investors like, it will be the slightly easier process, like not fully, but at least slightly. So can you provide
Yeah,
any advice on this?
find investors who want to buy a kidney. uh, if we take, my advices will be, I think, in for the 10 minutes I don't explain how to build a good blockchain project, but based on my experience and different conversation with the projects, elevator speech, pitch, etc. Um, Probably after the stream I will write a whole post about it. uh, I would add here briefly: prepare all high quality documents. I mean, pitch deck, one pager, deck, business model, canvas, etc. Spend couple $100 for good designers. This is my short advice number one. Uh, don't uh, don't be greedy on how your documents looks like. This is really important, and imagine that, for example, investment team need to. This is what I'm talking about when I said uh, from investment perspective. If you investors in venture capital, you need to explore in one day very big numbers of pitch deck white papers. If this white paper have 70 pages, of course this is big amount of work, and try to prepare, okay, white paper where fully describe, prepare pitch deck with shorter, prepare one pager to describe in 30 seconds necessary all necessary points that were important for investors. uh, this is number one: documents. uh, they must be high quality with a good design. This, I'm your lover of how high quality Vidma reports designed, because this is,
Thanks for
this is,
it.
yeah, this is,
They're great.
but it's a very common story. Like smart contract audit report. This is, you can write it in the words and published, but or you can make a high quality design to share it public. Like I have it, um, and this is not very expensive. No, we all understand costs in the market for for designers. Um, Usually, the fund can understand where the project usually fund understand project is suitable or not in 5-10 minutes, really. And you need to exactly understand what is criteria of this fund. If you suit, they will be ready to discuss in details, deep dive in documents, numbers, predictions, all that we discussed before. But for really fast understanding, enough 5-10 minutes. So prepare documents, be short and concise. This is very important to explain your whole idea. And I think also important to explain, because all people who work in an investment niche in VC, this all, anyway, this is humans, real humans, not something mysterious, super or something. Real humans. And if you for as a for human explain in a nutshell, in a simple words, where they can make their income. If you invest ABC, we will do CBD, and you will take your access in very simple, and and make a good.
If so,
Huh?
as of now, you mentioned that humans are working, so the design is quite important to stand out. But we do not know. Like AI is actually evolving quite great. So maybe in the Mempool Ventures for
Oh,
the following
I,
years, we some kind of
I
artificial
think
intelligence evolve. So up to this point, like when we do need the design, I fully agree on this. And let me ask the question on how much emails or how much messages you receive each day for the fund request. It's like I'm afraid to just imagine, according to the current state of the market, how do your inbox looks like. So, like maybe you know the number approximately, and that will be a great explanation why the design is vital to stand out for your documentation. Even if your concept is great, you need to stand out before, like just to catch the attention at least.
yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I may even hire one more assistant to manage this all inboxes, emails, etc., etc., because this is really important. Uh, I Of course, if we have massive follow-up email campaign, of course they can catch my attention. But of course, if you can describe in a nutshell, in couple sentence, how these investors will took their money, this will be much better. You know, in case of OpenAI and ChatGPT, I I very often see this pattern in LinkedIn when the people try to make a post from ChatGPT or write email from ChatGPT. Even now, this looks like sustainable pattern. They start from, I hope, um, I don't remember exactly, but something like, um, hope this email find you well, and after that, something. This is every time you use ChatGPT. This is like a funny story. But
But
um,
still, the
I
email
I think
funds you. Once you're seeing it, you're laughing, right? So you're in the good mood. So,
yeah.
Alex, I interrupt.
No,
What was,
go ahead.
was after you, Alex? Just continue
Okay.
with your thought on this.
Yeah, I hope for this live stream I explain in details with jokes, etc. In very easy manner uh, how we invest. I hope you tell me as my person that I discuss it. Do you understand how Mempool invest, or we need to
I
excavate some more details?
I perfectly do, and I believe we will need in the future one more discussion on how to actually approach, because that's quite important. Like we just, grasp this topic right in the end of our conversation, but still it's vital. Like if you're fundraising right now, like you need to know some aspects on how to stand out. So maybe that's actually should be planned for the future discussions with you. And I believe maybe the separate live stream should be on this topic. And Alex, thank you for such detailed explanation. Thanks for your time. It was a great Thursday evening chat. Like it's always a pleasure to see you. Hope it's not our last conversation, and I believe that in the following weeks, like we'll catch up one more time to discuss the investments. Maybe you'll have some good news for these following weeks.
100%, man. Appreciate for your time. Thanks for invite.
And taking this possibility, if somebody will watch us later, because we will upload this live stream to YouTube, and you can also find it on the LinkedIn profile. So if you have any questions to Alex, you can type the question in the comment section. So I believe Alex in the following couple of days will check the questions and provide the answers. If some good topics will be brought, maybe we will discuss it in more broad manner in the comment section. So just feel free to post any question. We will respond. Like if you have any also security related question, I would be happy to provide the answer. Alex, thanks, man. Thanks once again for your time on this meeting. It was a great live podcast. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening ahead. Talk soon. Bye bye.
Bye.